I'm back. Again, I've missed you. I hope you've missed me. In Fierce Love, one of the things that I talk about are the five myths that really tend to derail relationships. And so I thought I would read a bit for you about one of the most dangerous myths of all, and that is that the greatest gift we can give someone is unconditional love. That's a seriously bad idea. So let me read to you a bit from this chapter, and it starts with a quote from Bo Taplin. No, I do not want to be loved unconditionally. I want to be shown when I am treating you less than you deserve. I want you to leave if I ever start making you promises I do not see through. Love me for my flaws, yes, but don't you dare ever allow them to hurt you. I love that. Several years ago, Lori and Roger joined me for wine and cheese on the deck of my treehouse on Orcas Island. The treehouse is supported by 6 Douglas firs, has a ramp that makes it easy to access, and contains all the creature comforts. I'm a lucky woman. I listened as Lori and Roger talked about their young children, their perfect life. But I began to suspect that the most important thing remained to be said. As I refilled their wine glasses, I asked, So, what aren't you telling me? There was a long pause, and then it came out. A third person had entered their marriage when Roger had an affair. It had been devastating to Lori, and they almost divorced, but they assured me it was over and their marriage was back on track. After a long pause, Lori took Roger's hand, snuggled up to him, looked at me, and said, We got through it. We can get through anything because we believe in unconditional love. At which point she looked adoringly into Roger's eyes and said, There is nothing you could ever do that would cause me to leave you. Take that back, I shouted, shocking all 3 of us. I suppose you also believe that love conquers all and that love means never having to say you're sorry, which is a total load of crap. I looked at their startled faces, took a deep breath, and explained, Those who say that the greatest gift we can give another is unconditional love have not thought this through. Love can be crazy, broken, divine, stumbling, sweaty, flawed, beautiful. But unconditional, stop telling that story. If you two want to stay together here on this planet in this lifetime, up close and personal, there should be conditions. I turned to Lori. We all make mistakes. We need to forgive and be forgiven. But you just told Roger that there will be no consequences if he cheats again. If he did cheat again, would you happily stay in the marriage? And Roger, would you respect Lori if she stayed with you no matter how badly you behaved? And there's something else I want you to think about. Have you ever read The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein to your children? She nodded. Well, according to Wikipedia, this book has been described as one of the most divisive books in children's literature. Is the relationship between the boy and the tree positive because the tree gives the boy selfless love, or is it negative? Do the boy and the tree have an abusive relationship? Again, wide eyes from Lori and Roger. I remember reading it to my daughters and wanting to yell at the tree, Stop it, don't give one more branch to that ungrateful brat. Lori looked stunned. Roger looked embarrassed. I continued, There are 2 things I want you both to consider. First, we teach others how to treat us. Second, we get what we tolerate. If either of you tolerates bad behavior at some point, you deserve what you get. In saying what you just said, Lori, you signaled that although it would be painful, you wouldn't leave the marriage no matter what Roger did. A relationship without conditions invites martyrdom. Yet instead of the gratitude you might think you've earned, you may find yourself alone and confused because martyrs are no fun to be around. Roger shouldn't want that for you. You shouldn't want that for yourself. But if there are no conditions under which you would leave the marriage, then What's to stop Roger from having another affair or from doing other things that would be painful for you? Some silences are very loud. I continued, I want you to give each other heaping handfuls of love, with the caveat that it is conditional. And so I recommend that you both clarify the conditions under which you would no longer want this marriage. Talk about them. Don't list things because you've been told that they should be important to you. This has to be real for you, unique to you. This may sound harsh, but if you want to experience unconditional love, get a dog. They're the best. I wish I could have listened in on Lori and Roger's ferry ride home. Have you ever known someone who was a giving tree, inexhaustibly obliging? Perhaps you took advantage of that and increased your demands. Or perhaps you wanted to get away from them, even judging them to be somewhat pathetic because they either had no goals of their own or made others' goals more important. That person is not a complete person, not whole, not strong enough to claim the life that he or she wants. And that leaves that person vulnerable to influence from others. What if you recognize that you are a giving tree, that you have essentially martyred yourself to this idea of unconditional love? While it's easy to understand that we get what we tolerate, the challenge comes in figuring out the best way to bring something hurtful to your partner's attention. Most of us make it too complicated. When we don't like what we are getting, we simply need to say, stop it. In fact, when I am asked about my approach to coaching, I recommend potential clients watch a video on YouTube called Bob Newhart, Stop It. Look it up for fun. This pretty much sums up my approach, and I hope it made you laugh. When you tell someone to stop doing or saying hurtful things, they may give you their reasons for their bad behavior. I yelled at you because I'm under a lot of stress at work. I'm sorry I said you were stupid. I'm just tired of explaining. Don't be too quick to forgive them. We all have plenty of reasons for behaving badly, but we can either have what we say we want, or we can have all of the reasons why we don't have what we want. For example, we say we want a loving relationship, and yet we say hurtful things, which we justify with our reasons. It doesn't work like that. Reasons are results. We can't have both. We have to choose, and conditions need to be clarified.